One of the legend stories about dancing was in Egypt, yes, also, and from the golden era. She was very important in this time and was very famous. She did a lot of wonderful things for the Oriental dancing and belly dancing. Also, she created a type of dance, but what a pity it does not exist anymore. This type of dance was one of the wonderful type of dances as I have been read about it. Anyway, I will explain it to you, but step by step during this video. Also, she was the second. Why? Because the first one, as I told you before, the first one was from the last video. And this video, it belongs to Bamba Kashar. As I told you, she came from a high privileged family from the society in Egypt. She was born 1860 in Cairo, and her family, they are from the Mamluks family long ago, Circassians family, or Circassians, yes, Circassians family. Her father was the Quran reciter in the Khedive palace, and was very famous everywhere all over Egypt. For this reason, a lot of families, especially the high privileged families, they asked him to go for their parties, a special type of parties. By the way, in Egypt, same as all the religions all over the world, I think, sometimes the families, they likes to do or to create or to make a party belongs to the religious. In Egypt, they asking the best one, reciter, can go and say some Quran and something like this. So they were asking him all the time to going to their these special parties just for Quran, to say Quran, to let them feel it and hear it right well from him. Normally he was taking, or usually he was taking Bamba with him all the time when he traveled everywhere, all over the cities or the villages in Egypt. What the beautiful thing is, in this time, women, they sit in a place, as I explained you before. Men, they sit in another place, and of course, all of them, they hear the reciter, but forbidden for women to come enter the place of men or to sit with them. It was something like that. For this reason, she was sit with girls or with women, and of course her father stay with men. She said during this time she was, of course, women, they hearing the Quran, but something very nice. She said that they were dancing, by the way, not onto the Quran, but they play and dancing and do some nice things together as women together. During this time, or all this time, she was dancing with them and do a lot of wonderful things, which let her be happy and love very much dancing. When she had 14 years old, her father died. And suddenly, after a few months, her mother married from the second Quran reciter from the palace. Of course, they refused it in the beginning, and they were very upset from their mother, her and her sister. I mean, Bamba and her sisters. And in the end, they decided to leave the house. They left the house and they went to El Hussein area. They had a house over there, but was very strange that they lived near to a famous dancer in this time. Her name was Salam. she was not Egyptian, but from Turkey. She was Turkish dancer, and she was very famous in the society in this time long ago. Normally, a lot of families, they asking her, high privileged families in the society, asking her to go to their parties and dancing in their parties. It started to be a friendship between both of them together. I mean, Salam dancer and Bamba Kashar, and she started to dance with her. 3 years they worked together. After 3 years, she decided to stop working with her and to create her group, which already she did. Her group in this time, as you know also, there were no CDs or something like this, but only musicians and dancers and singers like that. So she created her group and she started to work alone without Salam. Of course, during the time with Salam, she knew a lot of high families in the society. For this reason, she started to be famous, yes, also. And step by step, she became much more famous. During this time, the transportation or the main transportation in Egypt, as many places all over the Arab world and of course in the all over the world too, there were no cars or something like this using it for the transportation. But in Egypt, the most important transportation was by donkeys. So they were using the donkeys to go or to travel or to do something like that. So for this reason, she hired or she used a donkey from someone in Egypt or in Cairo. And in the parties, they were giving her, for every party, for any party, a large money, 5 piastres. 5 piastres, you see. So the owner or the donkey's owner, he was asking her all the time for 2.5 piastres, and the rest it will be for her and her group. 2 piastres and a half for her and her group, and 2.5 piastres for the donkey. So I believe it's funny, of course, but it was like that. 5 piastres in this time was huge, or wow, money. So she decided in the end that how she can keep all of this money. She decided in the end to marry the owner of this donkey, and already she married him after that. They stayed together for a while, and then in the end they divorced. Then she married from the singer of her group for a period of time, and then she divorced from him. Then she married from a doctor, was famous doctor in this time in Cairo. During this time, she was working everywhere. She was doing her performance everywhere, all over Egypt, not only in Cairo, but all over all the cities, and she became much more famous than Salam. During this time also was another dancer who I explained you her and her life for the last video, as I told you. And you can see this video, or you can watch this video here. Of course, you know her name, Shafika El-Qibtiyya, and there were a big competition between both. Sometimes Shafika, she lose, and sometimes Bamba Kashar lose. Something like that. It was something like this. But the whole time, or most of the time, Shafika was #1 and Bamba Kashar was #2. Life ran like that for a while until a wealthy man met her or saw her and fell in love with her. So she divorced from the doctor and she married him. This wealthy man, he was from Upper Egypt, and he bought to her a vehicle with 6 horses. In this time, this vehicle with 6 horses was something wow, because not so easy to find anyone can have something like this except the Khedive or the highest wealthy people in the society, or princes or something like this. For this reason was wonderful for her, and she was wow, like that, until she got all his money, and then they divorced once more again. It was something like this, but during this time she started to know much more wealthy people and politic men in the kingdom, and it was something big for her. She became much more famous and much more rich during this time, or all of this time, during all of this time, until she met in Cairo who we call him Shahbandar el Tuggar, which it means chief merchants or chief merchant. She married him, and they stayed together for a couple of years, and she got a boy and girl from him. But was a big disaster. His family was fighting her and fighting him too, until they divorced once more again. But she didn't divorce it as normal, just she asked him for much money, yes, also as usual with all of her marriages before. Then they divorced. Step by step, she became much more and much more rich. Looks like a legend in this time, and a lot of people love her very much, until she found something. Yes, was a competition, as I told you, between her and Shafika. Shafika al-Qibtiyya, as I explained you last time, she created a type of dance, we call it el-fanar dance, which it is now famous by candlestick dance or shamadan dance. Also, Bamba Kashar, she tried to find a solution to win this competition. So she created, yes, also another type of dance, but what a pity this type of dance is not exists anymore. But I can explain you some points about it. Let me say, a half of this type of folk dance we can see now. It was about a tray full of cups, and this cups full of water, or a tray have cups, and this cups have or full of water with gold coins, and a lot of gold coins around. And she carried this tray over her head and dancing with it. And sometimes she can put this tray onto her chest or onto her stomach and dance with it without any drop of water or any coin fell down or something like this exactly. It was something like that. This is the dance, the type of dances she created, and she was famous for by this type of folk dancing. As I told you, there is no one do it now, or we didn't do it. I didn't see it now, except the tray. In somewhere I found it or I saw it, especially in North Africa. Some societies, they use it, yes, also through their dance or during their folk dance, but with the candles, with the wax candles. This is what I can tell you, something like this. Yes, exactly. So anyway, this was the competition between both of them, and this also the type of dance she created. But it disappeared now. No one do it now. In this time, as I told you, same like or as the last video, the fat women was the beauty, or this is the beauty of the society. If any woman she is fat, that means she is a beauty woman in this society. Also, or another point which is very important, the eyebrows. In this time, long ago, it was a fashion. It was very important for the beauty women to have a thick eyebrows. Thick eyebrows. She was famous for the thickest eyebrows, or the woman with the thickest eyebrows in the Egyptian society. Wow, this is very beautiful when you see in the street a woman with a very thick eyebrows, but close, yes, also close eyebrows, something like this. It was the beauty. Wow, wonderful. If we see something like that now, I think I will fall in love with her, huh? Yeah. So this is what the beauty of women in this time, and she was famous for this thick eyebrows. A lot of people, they fell in love with her because of this eyebrows, of course. She did a lot of performance everywhere, and another point I love to share it with you also. She was the first one who created a dance festival. As you know now, everywhere, all over the world, we have a lot of festivals and famous festivals and a lot of things like this group of dancers, or you know. So anyway, she created this, and she was the first one who created this festival, and this festival was called by Zar Festival. Zar Festival. Why Zar actually? It was the famous dance in this time for people can come and watch and stay longer and something like this. This festival was taking about 1 month until it's finished. Every year she do this festival, Zar Festival. What is the program in this festival actually, which is very nice? Yes, also the first day she never dancing, but dancers and singers. This is the first day. The second day she entered the stage, sit on a chair. Some people they hanging this chair, and she entered the stage by this way until the middle of the stage. Then they put her down like that. The singers, there were two singers in this time were very famous in Egypt. They open the day or the evening singing and play music with the musicians and something like that until they finish. Then she is standing up and start dancing with the musicians. This is the second day. The third day and the fourth until the end of the month, every evening dancing, and from the dancers from everywhere, all over the Arab countries, by the way. So it was dancing and let me say parties. A lot of wealthy people, famous people, and apolitic people, yes, also they entered this festival every evening, watching this parties. And it was something like this. During the day, sometimes they're giving some classes, but not seem like now. It was seem like long ago, of course. So they're giving some classes and something like this. This is exactly the first, let us say, the first festival of dance had happened here in Egypt, and of course all over the Arab countries. Also, another point I love to share with you, or another story I love to share with you too. As I told you, she became much more rich. There are a strange story about her. There were a politic man had some problems with the British soldiers or British people here in Egypt, and they pushed him out of Egypt. She carved a street with a long by around 3 kilometers long. She carved this street with a very expensive carpets when he returning back from exile, just for him, which let her be much more famous, actually, with the politic places or politic areas, or politic, yes, palaces, something like this. You know what I mean? So this is very important, yes, also for her, or let her much more be much more famous in this time. Before she died, by the way, 70 years old, and the last day of her, she was dancing, and in the evening, or after she finished her dancing, in the evening she was dancing, and after she finished, she went back home, and then she died. So she was dancing until 70 years old. She died around 1930, and she left a lot of money for her boy and girl. Her boy and girl, they were not dancing or didn't do any type of art. They had the money and then finished. Also, she did some films. Only 2 films or something like that, films without talking since long time in Egypt here, and she produced 2 films in Egypt, yes, also. This is the whole story about her. I hope you like it, and I hope you can compare between both of them. I mean her and the one was competing her. In this time, as I told you, also she created this type of dance. I mean this tray dance. Bamba Kashar created this dance, and of course Shafiqa Al-Qibtiyya, she created the candlestick dance. But as we see now, the candlestick dance still exists, but the tray dance disappeared. This is the story about her, which I hope you like it. Every points about her now, or the main points I told you now about her. And of course, I love very much to receive your comments. Write it to me, and if you have any question about her, you can send me. I hope I can find the answer of it, of course. And as usual, I'm asking you all the time, subscribe and write your comment, be in contact with me. There are still much more and more stories about this golden era and about the dancers in this time. Thank you very much, and see you again very soon with another story.